Dear Asian scholars, speakers, and participants, the first work I would like to say thanks all of the organizers from the 18th Asian International Conference and the Hosting University who has created a good choice for us to join and to share our study. The first one, I would like to introduce ourselves. Our team has 4 authors, and I'm the person who are presenting this study to you. My name is Trần Tiến Nghị, and I'm the lecturer of the Ho Chi Minh City University of Food Industry. The second author is the Associate Professor Dr. Nguyễn Tất Thắng from Đà Lạt University. And the second author is Associate Professor Dr. Trần Hữu Phúc from the University of Foreign Language Study, the University of Da Nang, Vietnam. And the last author in our team is Nguyễn Mậu Vũ from the Bibo Public University, Ho Chi Minh City University of Vietnam. Our study is investigating the readiness, preparation, and effectiveness of online teaching and learning in Vietnam tertiary level. And in my presentation, we have 4 parts: the introduction, literature review, methodology, finding, and conclusion. And you know, the COVID-19 is an irreversible sickness which started in the December of 2019. And I think that all of us know the serious situation that the world have to face up with the COVID-19. And the COVID-19 folks all of us, especially the lecturer, but you, the internet environment for teaching, instead of the offsite teaching. Education is the most influence, and the Vietnamese university have actively shifted the mood from the offline teaching to the online teaching when we're receiving the objective of preventing the COVID-19 spread by the Vietnamese government. Many modern virtual conferencing platforms such as Microsoft Teams, Zoom, Big Blue Button, Google Meet, or some direct live stream from the social media had support the lesson and support the lecturer and the student in the Vietnamese context when the people have to stay at home. Most of the campus, university campus, had put forward the critical attempt to overcome the COVID-19 crisis in Vietnam. And in this study, we will investigating the e-learning framework and to identify which framework is suitable or which framework is appropriate. And this paper, this study is to explore the readiness and preparedness for the form of the online teaching and learning, and its effective one in Vietnamese context. In this study, we will apply one of the framework proposed by Muhlenberg and Birch. I mean the work emergency remote teaching here, remote teaching. And based on this framework, the readiness, attitudes, satisfaction, the effectiveness, and the student anxiety will be considered as the main factor affecting to the quality of the teaching in the emergency situation. Based on this framework, we create the conceptual framework for our study. We discussing about the student characteristics through the factor of satisfaction and the computer style efficiency. The other is the university facility through the 2 factor is resource readiness and statutory readiness. And for the quantitative preparation, we will examine the student anxiety, teacher and student anxiety, and the cognitive readiness from the teacher and the student. From these aspects, we will declare the basis of readiness for the framework of online learning and teaching in the Vietnamese context. The methodology. This study will conduct on the different situations from the mainly three universities in Vietnam: the Đà Lạt University, Da Nang University, and Ho Chi Minh City University of Food Industry. A questionnaire that were created online through the Google form were delivered to this university, and the respondents who took part in this study were calculated as 188 volunteer random students and lecturers from this university and some other in Ho Chi Minh City. We use the analytical methods in the covariable structural analysis to analyze for the result in our study. Okay. Now we move to the finding and the discussion. That is the summary of the participant. And in this participant, there are 112 students from Ho Chi Minh University of Food Industry, 34 students from Đà Lạt University, 20 from the Da Nang, and the other 22 with the percentage here. And in the measure, we total the measure in based on the larger field, like the social, natural, and technology, and the other. And here the perceptive. And you see that mostly we choose the social sciences for we concerning about the language teaching and linguistics. So we choose most of the student is near to our field. That is the participant in this study. You can see that. In order to getting the conceptual framework, we draw the path diagram, and with 188 observations, we use the model with the highlight, with the value factor. Which factor will have the tick line is the most important one. Now let's look this one. Here is the diagram path we use in our study. You can see that in the figure number 3 here, we show the relationship between the student characteristic, okay, the university condition, and the cognitive preparation. In this one, these group factors are considered as the influence in the readiness of the student. Okay, some variable like satisfaction, computer style efficient, resource readiness, statutory readiness, menacing anxiety, and cognitive readiness that consider have influence on the quality of online teaching and learning, or the status have higher than 0.6 compared alpha value. Here's the summary. Okay. That all of the variable or the construct in the study that fulfill the validity requirement because their Cronbach alpha is higher than 0.6, and all of the contract in this study is declared reliable, and we can see the figure range from 0.6 to 0.8, that higher than the median value of 0.6. Now, you can see that the computer cell efficiency, even with the 0.89, right? 89. Here the average variable ejected from nearly to 0.9. Okay. Now let's see the thick line here. What does this mean? When we see the inclusion from the factor like the student computer efficiency had the most influence into the satisfaction of the student. With the student who got the higher expectation from their computer efficiency, it may be they got better result. The other, also we can see two other, here is the resourcial readiness and the statistical readiness also have an influence on the student readiness and preparation. If the university or the institution statutory readiness, it means that in their organization had prepared the internet bank, the material, the way of teaching, the online training courses for the teacher and the student before they start their curriculum. That is much appreciated because it helps the student to be overcome their anxiety. And when they got their quantitative about online learning and teaching is quite well, it's a contribute again or the readiness of the learning and teaching. I will show you some of the main finding that we draw out from our study. The readiness is usually the basis of the cognitive researcher to the certain behavior. It's clear that it supports the learner, preparedness for online learning and teaching. It's good to prepare them for a long time to help them to adapt when the process of online learning and teaching is happen, especially for the emergency situation. And the student readiness for the online learning is greatly linked to the computer cell efficiency. Computer cell efficiency is a key factor. You can see this again. Okay, I will see you. Here is the key factor because it is the lie and the tick arrow to the student satisfaction. Right? Remember this one is the key factor. So the computer cell efficiency is a key factor. But it also depends on the other factor as well, including organization support and organization strategy. Remember that if the university had the strategy for the online learning section included in their curriculum, it's much better than the university who don't have a strategy in their curriculum. Okay, we move to the conclusion. With the spread of the COVID-19 pandemic, online learning and teaching is becoming more important in our education management to prevent us from widespread of the pandemic of the COVID-19. And this study investigating the factor affecting the quality of the online learning and teaching at the higher education in Vietnam. And the result revealed that teacher and student readiness play a significant role to the success of the course and the curriculum and the student satisfaction. So remember that the readiness is something contribute to the quality for the online learning and teaching. The study also examined organization and technical factor in terms of resource readiness and statutory readiness in a higher education of Vietnam, a developing country. And the result from our study indicate that the resource readiness, statutory readiness, and the computer efficiency all affect to the student and lecturer anxiety and satisfaction. Remember this one. Even sometimes we see the core value or the mission of the university didn't affect to the quality of learning and teaching. No, that affect a lot. If the university see the future development of online teaching and learning, they will be integrate the framework of online learning in their course or their curriculum at the very first one in teaching. Hopefully, this study will contribute the dimension of directing toward the online teaching and learning, where the readiness from the teacher and the student or the lecturer and student for an emergency situation like the COVID-19. And I do hope that in the listener here who are the administrator or who are the lecturer, the first thing you must think up before you start to occur in language teaching and learning is how to prepare the teacher and student readiness for the virtual educational environment. Thank you for your listening to our study.